General Quarters. Security, Condition 3.
GQ, Security 3, sir. General Quarters 3, Intruder Alert. GQ 3, Intruder Alert.
I'm working with electronics today, and I'm going to do a couple of demonstrations. I'm going to take this piece of 80 thousandths 10-year-old styrene scrap, and I'm going to make a generic landing bay platform and go ahead and light it up with some running lights or landing lights, if you will. So let's get started. I've squared up the piece of 80 thousandths styrene that is going to represent the landing bay, a generic landing bay for any ship or space station. Since there's no semicircle on the back for, say, a refit or an original series Enterprise, I'm going to say it's a generic space station landing bay. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot this with gray primer, let it dry in the sun while I'm soldering the circuit together. Then I'm going to drill out the holes for the LEDs to display the landing pattern as the blinkies go forward to show landing lights. Okay, I've cut 8 equal lengths of multicolored single strand wire from telephone cable, old telephone cable, 4 wires each, 2 colors for each sets of positive and negative, and I'm getting ready to trim these up and wire these together and start soldering the board. Now, quick note on LEDs, the short leg is almost always the negative side of the LED. So going with the multi-strand, multicolored wire, I'm going to say for the blue, solid blue line, I'm going to use that as the ground, and for the white line with the blue stripe, I'm going to use that as the positive. I'm going to do a quick demonstration, since I'm working on lighting today and electronics, on how to frost glass, or make it appear like you frosted glass, for lighting on the interior of the Aries here. This can be used on almost anything. The 350 original series, the 350 refit, whatever model you really want to have windows, backlit windows, and you want to diffuse the light. What we've got here is just a piece of clear plastic from my wife's Elizabeth Taylor collection. Ooh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this up into small sections, sand the whole thing first with 400 and 600 grit sandpaper to frost it, and then we'll look at this when it's done, coming up next. So here we see frosted plastic, frosted with sandpaper. Now, there are some spots that just don't work because they've been crumpled or crimped or whatever. So what I'm going to do is just cut out the parts that I need. Now, let's take a look at this backlit. Now you see that? Looks like a frosted glass with backlit with regular lighting, just like you see in the movie. There you go. Now to get the parts for the inside of this piece, I'm going to use a scale to measure the outside diameter and the inside diameter. Then I'm going to use a compass to make a template to cut around. Then I'll use that part to go inside here and backlight it. Easy peasy. Enterprise Shuttle Galileo, you are cleared for landing. Landing lights have been activated. Come on home. Okay, here you are, 8 LEDs running in sequence. This circuit is variable, but I cannot hold the camera and adjust the circuit. My tripod's out in the garage, so you're just going to have to take my word for it. Okay, I wanted to go over a couple of things briefly. One, you really only need 3 LEDs. 1, 2, 3. You can do it with 2, but 2 doesn't give you much of a time difference between the flashes, so it kind of comes off a little bit too fast. But if you run with 3 LEDs, then you just run additional LEDs in parallel, i.e. 4, 5, 6 are going to be tied into 1, 2, 3. What I'm saying by that is you run them in parallel, and then you don't have to have that many channels coming out of your circuit. You only need 3 channels coming out of your circuit, and then you just repeat it in parallel up to at least 3 LEDs a piece running in parallel with each other. If you run them in series and one of the LEDs goes out or has a cold solder joint or something like that, then you lose all 3 LEDs. But if you run them in parallel with these voltages and currents, you're not going to have a problem. Also, the way this circuit's set up, you can have 2 LEDs firing at once, so you get a slightly different pattern, and 3 LEDs and so on. But when you're only running at 8 LEDs, for me, I think this is the perfect way to go. Additionally, I've got these LEDs up the center line. You could put the LED underneath on the center line, epoxy it, and epoxy fiber optics to either side of it, and have 2 lines going up the center line. Or you can run LEDs in parallel, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It'll just look like it's in series. So you'll have 2 lines going up the center line, one on the left, one on the right. There you go. Captain Quirk's Electronics 101. Landing bay lights. Hoo-hoo-hoo.
Captain's log, stardate 1709.2. Patrolling outposts guarding the neutral zone between planets Romulus and Remus and the rest of the galaxy received emergency call from Outpost 4. The USS Enterprise is moving to investigate and assist.
I'll just keep getting stronger. You know that, don't you?